Hello, hello, rejoice. It is t-shirt weather in the UK at last. T-shirt weather. We have the t-shirt on, we have the merch being plugged. I leave my home to rent movies at Snips. Don't forget you can order your merch if you so desire via the links below this video. And it's been selling really well, to be honest. 6 different designs, all very cool to look at, and I think I might do an inside the video store line of merch. Would anyone buy that? I don't know. Might do. So what do you know? It's been a good week. It's always been a good week. It's never a bad week, is it? It's been a busy week. Had some great films going out on loan. Yeah, just really, really good to see lots of new people again. Lots of new people, interesting people who have made quite a trek to rent movies, which is great. We have the BBC coming in on Friday morning, BBC Radio Merseyside, who are doing a little segment here about the store, which is exciting, which is great. So that'll be cool. I have Jake, my cameraman from episodes gone by, coming on Sunday. He's a filmmaker by nature, and he's going to make a little documentary about physical media, which I think is a really interesting thing. Certainly what he's pitched to me is very, very interesting indeed, and should make for a good little short documentary. Aside from that, yeah, it's 5 films. 5 films is going really well. Filmed another 2 episodes this week. We've got 5 in the can. Sunday coming we have Fallon. Sunday after that we have Ryan. Sunday after that we have Neil. Sunday after that we have Chris. Sunday after that we have someone else, which is great, really exciting. And I've got more people coming in next week as well. So thank you for volunteering. You're more than welcome to come along, especially the ladies, because I don't want it to be a sort of male dominated thing. And you can see, with Rebecca's episode last week, just how great the women are, easily outclassing the men. Wasn't she fantastic? Wasn't she absolutely fantastic? And you'd be glad to know she was in yesterday and she returned Free Solo. I don't know if you remember her picking that as one of her 5. And yeah, she got through it. She got through Free Solo. So that's a mega achievement on her behalf. So yeah, that's great. And I think, well, she's rented an excellent double bill, if I might say. An excellent double bill of Censor and Barbarian Sound Studio, which I think are an excellent double bill of oral kind of horror. So I'll be interested to see what she thinks of those when she brings them back. In the meantime, what have we got coming up today? We have a stack of new releases, as always. We have some choice cuts of the films on loan. We have the well, what's in the box? Now, it's a funny time. Obviously not loads of boutique stuff out in the first 2 weeks of the month. So what I'm doing, because I had such a great first quarter of the year, I'm using the time in the next 2 weeks to catch up on a few bits that have been lurking. Wish lists, because as you know, I've said on episodes gone by, it is a feeling of dread in the pit of my stomach of having stuff on my wish list that now gradually goes out of print. I've seen it happen with Eureka. I think I had 35 items on my wish list, stuff that I missed out on. And I think a number of those are now out of print. Because, of course, you've got to think back maybe 4 or 5 years in the wake of lockdown, the first initial lockdown. That really did do some quite extensive damage to many small businesses across the land, and certainly this was one of them. We opened up after lockdown, when was it, summer of 2020, and business wasn't great. Budgets weren't there to pick up boutique Blu-rays, and we kind of thought, well, what are we going to do? Obviously my dad was still around at the time. We thought, what are we going to do? The hardcore people who have been with us for 2 decades had begun to not come back. They'd discovered Netflix, they'd discovered Prime, they'd discovered streaming. And so we really had to have a think how to evolve the store. And since 2020, it has been a constant evolution. But there was a period of 2020, 2021 where we just couldn't afford, the boutiques that we're buying today. So now we're still playing catch up. It's crazy. 5 years later, still playing catch up, but starting to make inroads. And I think inside the next 2 or 3 months, I think I'll be caught up with pretty much every boutique release that I have flagged. I'm a list maker. I make lists of every release that come out, and so I don't miss anything, but I always have things on standby because I always know that I'll go back to them at some point, irrespective of how old they are. It doesn't matter if I don't know, say Skinny Tiger Fatty Dragon, which is just going out of print, I think, the Eureka Classics release. You can get it, but it's mid 20 quid mark, which is just kind of out of my price range. But it's still there on the list. It doesn't matter they got released a few years ago. The fact is, it's still a title that will be required and watched by and rented by people. Anyway, that's enough preamble. Let's crack on with some of the new arrivals this week, and it's a big one, to be honest. Now, I know what you'll say. You'll say, well, hang on, Dave. This film had a good cinema run. It had a damn good run on Mubi, M-U-B-I. Why get so many? And it's the substance, of course. And I just genuinely think the substance will be a perennial renter. I think it's a crowd sweller of the film that will bring people in all honesty. I haven't seen it yet. I've rented it for tonight. I'm going to watch it after the derby. In a depressed mood or in a very ecstatic mood. So yeah, I got 2 Blu-ray, which is a little bit unusual for Snips, and 2 DVD. Very excited to watch it. I had people sprint down the store after they went to the cinema to see it and eagerly wished to tell me all about it. Thankfully, no one did tell me any specific details other than the recommendation that I should see it ASAP. So I thought, well, I'll take the first copy that comes in. Thankfully, they didn't all go out. And yeah, I'll have a little look tonight. So very exciting indeed. And even more exciting, and this is a very nerdy thing, and I don't really normally do that nerdy kind of thing, but this is a Scannovo case, a Scannovo Blu-ray case for the Substance DVD Blu-ray, which is very exciting. Normally with your contemporary releases, you get the old blue standard, DVD case like so, but this is the clear Scannovo Blu-ray case with no top line there. So very swanky indeed. So well done, Mubi. I think they must release all their films in those cases, I think, but very impressive indeed. So yeah, so that is the Substance. It is this week's big release, and yeah, I reckon that one will be a solid renter for, well, the rest of the year. I would be surprised if I don't sit here come Christmas time doing the best renters of the year, and that isn't number 1. Or maybe second to I Saw the TV Glow, which is still out on loan. What do we got next? We have Mufasa, The Lion King. This is going straight into the kids section. £1 rental, absolute bargain. As I mentioned the other week with Moana 2, we're now getting Disney Blues in, as well as a couple of DVDs. And I know what you'll say, well, it's on Disney Plus for free, but you'd be surprised how few people in the grand scheme of things have Disney Plus. Certainly with Moana 2 over the last few weeks, it's been out pretty much constantly. So yeah, that is Mufasa, The Lion King. Another title, also in on Blu-ray and DVD, is Aaron Taylor Johnson in Kraken. Oh, sorry, that's what did Kraken? Release the Kraken. That's the Clash of the Titans thing. Never seen it either, ironically. Craven, the Hunter. Oh, we have Russell Crowe. Oh, this is a comic book thing, is it? I didn't know that. There you go. Yeah, it is a Marvel comic book thing. Russell Crowe, Aaron Taylor Johnson. I see. Spin-off. Right. Looks, it isn't pitched like that. I'd be surprised if non-comic book people or non-spandex people are renting that. Be interesting to see. Be interesting to see. Next up on Blu-ray only, no DVD of this, released by Studio Canal, in a slimline. If you want to comment on cases today, then I can certainly advise that this is a slimline case for Maria, the new film by Pablo Larraín. It is, of course, Angelina Jolie. And yeah, she's playing Maria Callas. It's got very good reviews. I don't know if it's something that I would personally take a look at, but nevertheless, it has it's an exciting release of immense quality, no doubt. I watched this last night. This is The Summer with Carmen. This is a new entry into our LGBT section. A very nice little romance set in Greece. So we have plentiful sunshine in this interesting, ambitious little narrative that goes back and forth as two guys try and construct a movie or script anyway, based on the reality of the lead actor's love life. And it is quite an interesting, quite a charming little story, to be honest. So yeah, I would heartily recommend that. And nice to see Peccadillo really going for the Blu-rays now as well. There are a couple of Peccadillo Blues that I missed out on, so I might go back and catch those up. Bong Joon-ho is a perennial renter here, always out on loan. Things like, well, I Saw the Devil is out on loan right now. But yeah, his section over here is very, very popular. Very, very popular. So it's great that Curzon have finally released Barking Dogs Never Bite on Blu-ray. For the first time in the UK, I think. That's his 2000 film, his debut. Which is great. I think a lot of people will go back to that and have a look at what started the career of this wonderful technician. So yeah, those Barking Dogs Don't Bite. And to be honest, my release of the week, that's an easy one to choose, to be honest. Is this lavish. I love the way, you know, obviously Indicator are the box set kings. Without doubt, Indicator are the boxed set kings. Brilliant array of box sets. Don't forget the Indicator sale at the moment. Oh, but it's nice to see Eureka going down that avenue as well, because for years the only real box sets they've done are things like I've forgotten again. Ernst Lubitsch. They did a lovely box set for him. Obviously, they had the Foulard box set a few months ago that sold out really, really quickly. So they've done a smattering over the Showa as well. Obviously, that was a box set. But I mean, over their long, long period of existence, they haven't done many. But now I think they've got 3 coming out in the next 3 months. They have a creamy box set, which I'm really, really excited about, because there's a few areas within the film business, within film history, genre history, there seem to be untapped resources in the UK. No one has ever really dug into the creamy phenomenon in Germany from the 60s, the Edgar Wallace kind of dramas that came out in their dozens, really, back then. So that's really exciting that Eureka are doing a creamy box set. But while I'm on the subject, no one has yet to tap into the Eurocrime phenomenon, which is bizarre. I don't know why no one has gone down that route, because surely they would sell. And similarly, no one has tapped into the peplum phenomenon. Both of those are Italian things from the 60s, and you know, I for one would love a lavish deluxe slip-cased copy of OK Connery with Sean Connery's brother in the lead role. That's Neil, wasn't it Neil Connery? Good Lord. Anyway, the first box set that Eureka put out is Maboose Lives. Maboose Lives, of course, bookended, of course, by the Fritz Lang film, The Thousand Eyes of Dr. Maboose. A little bit disappointing that they've only put it on 2 cases. You know, you have 6 films in this box set. And I thought they might kind of divvy them up Indicator style in those nice little card cases. But they haven't. They've kind of put 2 discs on in each box. 1 film on one disc, 2 films on the other disc, and it's fine. You know, I'm just being grouchy and possessive, that usual horrible collector mentality. Because, you know, who cares? As long as you got the film, that's all that matters. And the fact is that artwork just looks absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, well done, Eureka. It's great to see them entering the box set era with a vengeance. Can't wait to get stuck into that. Okay, that is this week's new releases. A very tasty bundle indeed. Next week's a funny week. I think we've got about 9 contemporary new releases, which is a real unusual thing. You know, when we've had weeks gone by of one, what was the one? I think it was it Moana? That was a single title came out, and then the week before that there were 2. Well, there's about 9 next week, which is quite exciting. There's some interesting titles there as well. Okay, what's been renting out this week? Well, to be honest, it's been a busy week. I had the busiest Saturday I've had in a decade. This Saturday just gone, in terms of items rented out. Remarkable. But there was a lot of people, a good handful of people, renting 6. I think Jake came in to rent 6. I forget who else came in to rent 6, which is great, brilliant to see. So that kind of skewed the figure, but it doesn't matter because it's what you get at the end of the day. So to be honest, I could have picked 16, not 8. So many interesting films that people have chosen. Really diverse mix, which is great to see. We'll start off, of course, with the lovely Sam, Mark's boy, who was rented. I think he's got a bit sick of these, to be honest. Mark's son Sam has seen every Sharknado film. Well, I should say that his dad has seen them as well. I've seen every Sharknado film this year. Every Sharknado film, all 6. And he is now about to finish the X-headed shark attack series. So he's seen 2, 3, 5, and now 6-headed shark attack. So wow, that is some feat, to be honest. That is some feat. But judging by his demeanor last weekend, I think he may have reached peak shark, and I think he's about to retire from the asylum section temporarily, hopefully temporarily, but still credit to him for persevering. I've got Chris up doing 5 films in a few weeks, and Chris's quintet was fantastic. A really, really good episode that will be, so check out that. He's a big Third Windows fan, as am I, as you can tell from down there. I love Third Window and what Adam Terrell is doing. Has done for many years, and Chris is having a delve into the Third Window section. One of his picks is from Third Window. I'm not going to tell you which one, but he also rented Kamikaze Girls, which is great fun. So I don't think he's seen that one, but I do hope he enjoys it. Speaking of 5 films, I forget who picked this, but yes, The Dirties is out on loan after it featured in the episode the other week, which is very, very cool to see. And we have seen that quite a lot. Cashback rented out that Gaz picked, and a few other bits. It's really nice. It's really nice that people are seeing other folks' recommendations and saying, "Oh, I fancy a bit of that," and renting them themselves. So yeah, The Dirties is out on loan. This is one that hasn't rented out for quite some time. It is from the director of The Mighty Boosh. It is Bunny and the Bull. So it's great. Such a weird film, but kind of adorable in many respects. But good to see it renting out. Lucy rented Jawbreaker, which in my estimation is one of the best kind of teeny comedies of the early noughties. No, it's late 90s, isn't it? 98. You know, parts of that wave that included, I don't know, 10 Things, She's All That, Down by Law, that's Jim Jarmusch, Down by Love, Down with Love, Down with getting the title wrong. You know the one with Freddie Prinze Jr. And yeah, this is one of the best, to be honest. This is absolutely superb. Rose McGowan's in it. Rebecca Gayheart is in it. It's brilliant. It is one of the great underrated teeny comedies that came out during that era. I love it to bits. And it's great to see it renting out to the next generation. Who rented this? James rented this, which is really cool to see. good that John Sayles is finally getting some traction. Out of this box set, James rented The Return of the Secaucus 7, one of John Sayles' early films, and it was great to see that renting out, so I'm really thrilled about that. You cannot not be thrilled with Suspiria renting out, one of my all-time favourite films. Probably top 10, I would say, in the all-time Dave list of great movies. But yeah, Suspiria is out on loan, and I really hope they turn it up loud. And finally this week, I know someone mentioned Killer Condom last week. Well, one of the other trauma releases that Vinegar Syndrome have put out. What's the one they announced this week? Igor the Lunatic. Not bad. But yeah, Rabid Grannies has just gone out, which is really cool to see. Rabid Grannies. What do you think of Vinegar Syndrome's announcements this week? I must admit, I think it's the best month for quite some time. I think, you know, we look at The Nesting, it's great to see that coming out on 4K UHD and region-free Blu-ray. You look at the other main title they had there, slips my mind what it is, but again, another interesting release. And then you have Cinematograph releasing Drop Zone on 4K UHD. Because we need that on 4K UHD, don't we? Yeah, oh well, interesting. You know, any film that gets released is a joyous celebration. That's a strange choice. For that label, but still. What's up next? So there's some on loans for you. Great selection. I could have gone on and done double that, but there we go. So we're just going to tidy up some of the also rans in the what's in the box section here. A few of you in weeks gone by have recommended some Asian, Japanese gangster films, because I had a little bit of a void there, and I've taken your advice. I forget who it was. It might have been Dan who mentioned it. I forget. But finally, I picked up Kinji Fukasaku's Battles Without Honor and Humanity, the complete collection, the complete 5 films. Good to have these. I think, as many of you have said, it's a really, really important release, and it's one of the best, you know, in the whole Yakuza era of films coming out of Japan. So I thought, yeah, that I really do have to make the effort to finally pick that up. And with that, I thought, well, with it, why not get Graveyards of Honor as well, which obviously contains the original Graveyard of Honor from 1975 and the remake that was done in 2002 by Takashi Miike. And that's a Takashi Miike film I don't have. Where is Takashi Miike? There he is. Got quite a few Takashi Miike films there, about a dozen and 14. But yeah, this is an interesting addition. So that's cool. And someone mentioned this. What was I watching? The Snake Woman film from Indonesia. You remember that came in last week from Mondo Macabre. Someone said it sounds like The Snake Girl and the Silver-Haired Witch. So I picked that up. It was quite cheap on the Arrow website, and I had some points as well that I could use. So yeah, there is The Snake Girl and the Silver-Haired Witch. I do love your recommendations, and if it's something worth picking up, I will pick it up. Because I like, as I say, I'll always say the same thing, and I'll say it again for those of you who haven't been watching that long. But you know, this whole thing may come under my name, but everyone, I feel, has a piece of it. Everyone owns a piece of this, and has a right to suggest stuff and advise on stuff, and you know, push me in a certain direction if you think, well, maybe try this. You know. I love it. I love listening to people, getting their advice, and broadening my taste, and also broadening the range of films at Snips. It's really important. It's important to listen. What I'd hate to do is walk into, you know, a place like this in 2025 and have a gatekeeper in charge of it. You know, that type of person that is possessive about what goes on and what is stocked, and recommendations and things like that. I love to get recommendations of people, suggestions of what to get in. It really is a pivotal part of, I think, the reason why we've grown so much in the last few years. So yeah, keep them coming, keep them coming. This was another one. I think it was Dave. Dave's a new member, a new customer rather, who's been coming in with his dad. His dad is 90, and they've been enjoying some good films. And Dave said, "Do you have Condor Man?" I said, "I don't, Dave. I've never heard of it. I haven't heard of it." It's a Walt Disney film, believe it or not, from 1980 with Michael Crawford. Michael Crawford in the lead role. Yeah, a cartoonist adopts the identity of his own winged creation. It sounds absolutely wild. Ollie Reed is in it as well. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. So I thought, yeah, stick that in the Disney section and we're good to go. So yeah, there's just some also random stuff I picked up. But the main purchase this week, I won't keep you that long, but Eureka. Eureka. Not to sound like Einstein for too long, but I explained this at the start of the show. There's a paranoia inside of me that says that it's getting harder and harder to go back onto back catalogue stuff. Licenses that distributors are signing seem to be getting shorter. So there's a worry that stuff that comes out today will not be around in 18 months or 2 years, especially if it sells out quickly. Will they go in for another pressing? Someone raised the point in the comment section. I'll read it out verbatim later, but someone said, I mean, this is one of the ones I mentioned last week, Early Universal Volume 2. Seems to go out of print very quickly. And I forget who it was, I'll read it later, but they said that they wrote to Eureka, and Eureka said that the range, that the titles, Volume 1 and Volume 2, didn't meet their sales projections, so they didn't think they could justify printing another run. So therefore, only the initial print run are in existence. So if that happens, once they're gone, they're gone. And, stay with me, you have a situation whereby, even with DVDs, it's not just Blu-rays, but even with DVDs, if they're not streaming, they're going for stupid money. I did a piece on TikTok during the week about 0 Day. Now, you know about this, don't you? If you're in some of the groups online with people that maybe don't leave their basement too often, you'll know that 0 Day is a hugely in-demand film. It's not streaming anywhere. Yes, you can see it on YouTube, but it's not streaming anywhere, and copies to buy are so thin on the ground that someone sold a copy on eBay last week for £150. That is this DVD, £150, because apparently in America, because it's about a school shooting, it seems to be in demand. Obviously, people looking for tips. So yeah, amazing. But there are many, many DVDs now becoming more and more rare, more and more in demand. So we're entering a phase whereby the only option you have with physical media is to buy it day and date, the day it comes out, or take a chance and buy it in the first sale. After that, I don't think you have any control over it. So anyway, let's have a look what came in. So I had a list of about, I think it was 32 Eureka discs on the Masters of Cinema range. Now, I'll try and insert a piece here that shows you where we're up to. Like I say, I've not got all of the collection. I've been collecting since edition number 1 on DVD back in the day, Sunrise. So you can see there that they're not all there, but it is a full fixture. And I just wanted to plug some gaps of films that I feel should be represented. This is what came in. I saw these back to back the other night, and they were great fun. It is 2 films by Ishiro Honda. It's The H-Man and Battle in Outer Space. They're both excellent. Battle in Outer Space has got some great miniature work. And the H-Man is just a weird kind of gangster sci-fi fusion that is bizarre, but it's great, really addictive stuff. So that's issue 100 double bill. We have 2 films here by G.W. Pabst, who of course did Pandora's Box, which Eureka put out in a lovely swanky edition last year. Now these aren't I think it's one silent and one sound, I forget, but yeah, interesting pair of films. West Front 1918 looks at 4 infantrymen on the Western Front who suffered the everyday hardships and insanity of trench warfare. Der Golem is a film by Paul Wegener and Carl Bowes from 1920, an early iconic horror masterpiece. It was Wegener's 3rd attempt at adapting the Golem character for the big screen. Wegener crafted one of silent cinema's most enduring masterpieces. A landmark film in the horror canon, influencing most notably James Whale's 1931 adaptation of Frankenstein. It is a preeminent example of German expressionism. That's the Golem. Very excited to watch that film. Similarly with this, Lon Chaney in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, another silent film, perhaps the greatest of Universal's silent films. Brilliant, stacked with special features as well. Obviously with Eureka, a fair bit of Asian cinema. We have Samurai Reincarnation, which is a spectacular fantasy epic from Kinji Fukasaku, which is good to see. That one dates from 1981. The Spy Who Came In From the Cold is, of course, based on the John le Carre book. It's directed by Martin Ritt and stars Richard Burton. I mean, holy moly. Although it comes in a Scanavo case. What's going on? Every single Eureka film comes in the standard clear Blu-ray, but this one has the bit on the top, and it's gonna trigger me. It's gonna trigger me. Son of the White Mare is animation, Hungarian animation from the 1970s. Speaking of which, I was really pleased to see the French animation Fantastic Planet rent out last night, which is very cool indeed to see that going out. Johnny Guitar, I think Mark rented this, did a week on DVD. Sorry, Mark, I've got the Blu-ray in now. But Nicholas Ray, of course, and the film was misunderstood by US audiences upon its release. And of course, now it's regarded as one of the great westerns of all time. Martin Scorsese's The Last Waltz is in, had it on DVD for decades, but you know, you've got to make the upgrade to Blu-ray. Revenge. Yeah, a masterwork from Tadashi Imai. A lacerating attack on the absurdity and hypocrisy of feudal Japan. That one dates from 1964. We have V, is that how you pronounce it? V-I-Y, from the Soviet Union in 1967. Stop motion and innovative color cinematography. In 19th century Russia, a 70 student is forced to spend 3 nights with the corpse of a beautiful young witch. We've all been there. We have Execution in Autumn. I know some of you will have got some of these, but if you haven't, and if you're a customer, then keep an eye out for these entering the Eureka section there. Although I'm going to have to lose the top shelf, so all the Eureka films go at the top. On the top shelf is all the Arrow Noir films, so I'm going to build a new section just in the far corner for those, but that's all right. This is from Taiwan, 1972. It is Execution in Autumn. We have Hideo Gosha's Violent Streets. Gosha is described as one of the finest directors of Japanese Chambara. A bold and colourful entry in the Yakuza genre. Restoration completed by the Toy Company. PTU is a bit of Johnny Toe. We have a Johnny Toe section around here somewhere. Just behind me. Do you have PTU on DVD? Think I do. Think I do. Don't know where it is. Johnny Toe. Speak to me, Johnny. He's around somewhere. You know what Johnny's like. Tends to disappear at the most important moments. Still, it doesn't matter. Where is that? That's going to bug me. If anyone knows when Johnny Toe section has gone, let me know. There he is. Hong Kong. PTU and on DVD, which is cool. From Third Window, no less, as well. It's a great Johnny Toe film. What was the Johnny Toe film that rented out the other week? Was it Election? It was Election, wasn't it? Volume 1 and Volume 2. So there's PTU. I have seen this. It is an excellent film. A great neo-noir. The Sun Shines Bright is a John Ford film. A John Ford film that he considers one of his best. So there. 1953. Very cool. Legend of the Mountain is in. Legend of the Mountain from 1979. Another Taiwanese film. Fantasy horror. Fantasy horror, heavily influenced by traditional Chinese aesthetics and Zen Buddhist philosophy. It has come to be regarded as one of his, King Hugh, cinematic filmmaking achievements. So yeah, that is Legend of the Mountain. We have The Fate of Lee Khan from Hong Kong in 1973, which is great. Action-packed wuxia adventure. And finally, starting where we finished with a Pabst, G.W. Pabst, 1927, The Love of Jeannie Nay. Die Liebe de Jean Nay. Follows a young French woman's struggle for happiness amid the political turbulence and corruption of post-World War I Europe. And there we go. So that's where we're at with Masters of Cinema. We're kind of filling in some good gaps there. Like I say, there's still, I think I've still got about 10 or 12 on my MOC wish list, which, they're coming down. They're coming down. Have a look what we got. And if any of you guys spot these in the wild, then maybe you might give me a shout. We have King of Hearts, The White Reindeer, The Chant of Jimmy Blacksmith, Son of the Sheikh, Raining in the Mountain, A Fistful of Dynamite, Throwdown, that's a UK, no, yeah, Made in Hong Kong, and also The African Queen. Like I say, most of these are drifting around eBay for kind of the mid-20s price. But, I only really pay that kind of money if I'm selling stuff. If I sell, occasionally I'll get dupes, and that'll give me the allowance to spend a little bit more on something. But I don't really want to spend mid-20s on those films. It's a little bit too much. It's a little bit too much. Okie dokie, let's have a look at some comment sections in the last 5 minutes or so and see what you people have been saying. Thank you again for watching last week's episode. We're still hitting great numbers. I did see an advert at the start of this week's 5 films. I don't know why, because I haven't entered any YouTube partnership program. Do we just get inflicted with adverts once we hit a certain amount of subscribers? Is that the way it goes? I mean, if they're going to hit me with adverts without saying yes or no, I mean, I suppose you may as well enter the partnership program, but I don't really want to be honest, because I thought that was going to eradicate all the adverts. But anyway, we'll see. So if any of you spot adverts in this episode of the main show, then please let me know. Okay, what have you people got to say? Oh yeah, of course we got Andrea Arnold's new film in last week, which has been renting well. Indie Phantom Sofa Cinema says Fish Tank was my favorite picture of 2012. Yeah, it was an amazing film. I think she's such a great director. Such a great director. James says I recently pre-ordered the World Noir Volume 3. Can't wait for that. Radiance is just radiant, don't you think? Yes, it is. I mean, those World Noirs. I need to catch up. I haven't seen as many films in those as I should have done, but I'm hoping now we got that commentary done last week and it went well. I had one slight minor issue. It was great. I mean, honestly, it was brilliant commentary. Can't wait for you to know what film it is. But of course, I got the director online, and the director's in his 70s, so he's not that au fait with the whole technology and all that kind of thing. But he did brilliantly well. And but yeah, when you're recording a commentary, you're kind of, you don't want to, if you want a sip of coffee, you slowly, all putting your mug down. And then of course we're chatting to the director, and every point that he's making, he's getting more and more animated as he's making the point. And it's like, well, so, and in this scene, we started doing this, and he's got a pencil in his hand, and banging the pencil with, the more animated he gets, the harder the pencil gets banged on the table. So you're listening back to the commentary, it's like a Morse code going through the whole commentary track. It's not that bad. But luckily, we have the tech to identify that specific sound and remove it. But it was great. So we just signed up for 4 more audio commentaries with 88 films, but I don't think we'll be doing those till the end of the year. So hopefully I've got some time to catch up with things like World Noir. Dan Turner, I Spy Motor City is Burning, the compilation. Oh, what a great compilation that is. Cherry Red are kicking ass at the moment. If you're not a fan of Cherry Red compilations of such amazing music from the late 60s and early 70s, so brilliantly curated compilations with booklets of liner notes that are just so informative. They're a really great label. I do recommend it. Corey the Third says, is this the anniversary episode? I think it was the anniversary episode, but I think that might have been the week before. I forget. But we're well over a year now, so good stuff. Dune Movie-thon it was. The Hungry Snake Woman sounds amazing. Must get to it. The title reminds me of the Japanese film The Snake Girl and the Silver-Haired Witch. That's a slam dunk favorite of mine. Recommended if you haven't gotten to it yet. And speaking of Wings Hauser, Wings died, of course, and today Val Kilmer died. Such a shame. If you ever get around to it, I know it's on a horrible streaming site. If you ever get around to it, I do thoroughly recommend the documentary Val. Mesmerizing. He's always one of those actors who you could never warm to, because he seemed to have a slight attitude and a slight reputation around mid-90s, Dr. Moreau time. But, you watch this documentary and your opinion changes on him, and the respect you have for him grows. So I do recommend that documentary. It's Val, V-A-L. I think it's streaming on, you might have to prime it, Fiverr, but it's worth it. What about? So yeah, Wings Hauser. Doom Movie did a double bill of LA Bounty and No Safe Haven to honor the man. Great stuff. It was Matt who was talking about the early Universal sets. Yeah, I'm annoyed with Eureka. I don't generally buy special editions, and I thought, being Universal, it was safe to wait. And then Eureka let them go out of print without warning us. And they said there won't be standard editions because they didn't sell well enough. Annoying. That is one of the good things that people like Radiance do. People like Indicator do. They will say if a film is going to go out of print, and that's really, really handy. I've done that a few times. I've seen that, tweet when it used to be Twitter, and Facebook post where they've given stock tallies, and it's been really interesting. I've picked up a few things like when they were down to the last 30 or 20 copies. And I'm so glad I did. It's important to do. I think it's just general customer service. I think it's just general customer service, letting people know what's available and when it won't be. But yeah, annoying. Steve says, I just watched the original Beauty and the Beast. It was so magical that it made me feel my emotions for the first time in decades. I'm a 30-yard bald-headed person, hard-hearted powerlifting bouncer, but it made me cry. That's good. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for sharing that. And on that note, that is it. That is it for this week. So yeah, please get in touch with any suggestions, whether you want inside the video store merch, whether that should be a thing. And yeah, I'm off to see the substance and see what it's all about, Alfie. So yeah, I think you should maybe join me next week. Next week we're going to have another round of catch-up. I think this week I'm going to pick up the martial arts films. The martial arts films I've kind of left on the list for the last 4 or 5 years that I haven't got. The martial arts section, as it is I'm not normally very modest, but it is a stunning section, to be honest. It doesn't get much traffic really in this neck of the woods, which is disappointing. But I think it's brilliant. It's so well stacked. I think I counted the other day, there's 300 titles in that martial arts section. It is mega. So I've just got another dozen or so to add that I missed out on a few years back. And I think we'll do that next week and go through them on next week's program. Check out 5 Films, which is airing on Sunday at the usual time. This week it's Fallon, our youngest contributor so far. Cut him some slack, but thank you for treating these people with such respect. It really does mean the world to me. They're lovely people, every one of them. They're giving their time up. They're putting themselves in front of the camera when they've never been in front of a camera before. And they're telling people about stuff that's very personal to them. So the way you're being so respectful and so courteous and so full of praise and enthusiasm for them is genuinely, people say about the internet being a horrible place, but at times it can be the best place. And you are certainly contributing to that. Okie dokie, I'm off. I will see you in 7 days' time.